Hi, this is Elgin Subwaysurfer Bolling, your creative caricature marketing consultant. Check me out on the web at www.subwaysurfer.com. Remember to leave comments in the comments field. Press like the video, press like it, subscribe if you wish. There's lots of good tips here, and also on my blog site at subwaysurfer.com, and feel free to email me at cartoonsforyou2@aol.com. That's cartoons, the number 4, the letter U, the number 2, at aol.com. And now let's get on with the video. The name of this video is going to be my top 5. Okay, my personal top 5. That's 5. There's a little hand trick there. My top 5 videos that every cartoonist I feel should have. I can say this because, well, it's my video and I'm putting myself up as an authority. Okay, so let's get started. These are some of my favorite videos. I admit, I like retro stuff. When I say retro stuff, I mean stuff from the early 60s, the 1970s, even some 80s stuff here, but particularly stuff from the 60s, and I'll tell you why. A lot of the stuff in the 60s was groundbreaking, and I find that you can use a lot of it in Flash animation now. Let me give you a good example of that. This is something I know you haven't seen in a long time. Bam! Batfink. Batfink was one of those cartoons that, when you look at it today, it's so wrong. When I say wrong, they use stereotypes. I mean, he has a sidekick called, I don't know if you, let me see if you can see this. He has a sidekick called Karate. Okay? And I just tell you, it's just the worst possible, just the worst possible, I can't even think of the word, rendition, parody, of Asian American, Japanese, that you'd ever want to see. But it's so corny and funny, and when you think about the time period, you kind of forgive it. Batfink was one of those cartoons that was kind of making fun at the Green Hornet and Kato, Courageous Cat and Minute Mouse, and also, of course, Batman. His big thing was, I have these wings of steel. Now, the reason why I recommend this video, for your collection is that the cartoons are done very, very simply. And what I noticed in Flash animation, that simple is key. You can learn a lot just looking at the style of how these things are drawn, and you can really get your work done. I can't say too much about this. The plot lines, kind of silly, but they're so silly you're going to be on the floor laughing. They're hilarious. So that's Batfink. Another film, retro film, that's kind of in that area, which is, a little bit better and a classic, is Rocky and Bullwinkle by Jay Ward. I didn't understand Rocky and Bullwinkle when I was a kid. I laughed my head off, but I didn't understand the jokes. And now that I'm a grown stinking man at 51 years old, I really, really get these jokes, and they're way, way over the top, some of them. What's interesting about Rocky and Bullwinkle is that the era that it was made in, it was during kind of the Cold War. So you have Natasha and Boris doing what they're doing there, but you also have, with Jay Ward's animation, these other kind of crazy characters. Commander McBragg, is that Jay Ward? Maybe I'm kind of mixing up characters. At any rate, forget about Commander McBragg. That's Underdog. I'm getting my cartoons mixed up. This is just a great collection, not only for the inside jokes, for the plot lines, but also the animation is classic, and like the aforementioned Batfink, very easy to adapt to Flash animation just by studying the way that the figures are drawn. So these are two you definitely want to have in your collection. This is something that's also a classic from the 60s. I lost a cover for it, but this is Tex Avery's Droopy. Okay, it was a 2-volume set. This is a classic. Just anything, if you know your animation, anything that Tex Avery does, he does way over the top. I consider Tex Avery to be a caricaturist cartoonist, because he does things as far as emotions and expressions are concerned so over the top. His jokes kind of repeat each other. They're kind of the same, but you still laugh nevertheless because they're done so hilariously. I think John Kay, in Spumco, is heavily influenced by, Tex Avery. And so this is definitely something you want to get for your collection. If not this, anything by Tex Avery is very, very good. Okay, I got this on the street for $10. In fact, you can get a lot of these videos if you live in New York City on 14th Street, right in front of Whole Foods. They have these vendors that are out there on a nice day. They sell these videos for $10. They have no idea what gems they have. Just to give you an example of that, this is an 80s cartoon, the entire season of Ian Flux for $10. This should have easily cost, around at least $30, at least $30, at least $40. $10. It's like a 3-volume set. Reason why you want to have this in your collection, because the artist that made Eon Flux in the 80s, he's the same artist that made Rugrats. I didn't know that. And he just wanted to do something so edgy, so different, so over the top that he made Ian Flux. If you're not familiar with the storyline, Ian Flux is kind of like, I don't know, it's hard to figure out what she is. You don't know if she's a spy or she's an assassin, but I do know that in every episode she she takes out about 1,000 people and gets killed in every episode, and it's jam-packed with action from beginning to the end. There's virtually no dialogue in the movie, in these animations rather, so you have to watch it from beginning to end, and it's just fascinatingly drawn. I recommend that you definitely have this for your collection, especially if you are into anime. Ian Flux. Finally, in my final 5, is one of my personal favorites, and it's, you get the glare off here, Pink Panther. Just for the music alone, the classic jazz music that's used in this. What I like most about Pink Panther is, surprisingly, it's not so much the cartoons, it's the music and also the backgrounds. Whoever the animators were on this, they paid kind of specific attention to the backgrounds. The backgrounds are really kind of psychedelic sometimes, kind of funky, for a person who kind of dislikes drawing backgrounds. Now, don't get it twisted. I can do backgrounds, okay? I can do them, but I hate to do them. This kind of is an alternative, if you look at this, to doing backgrounds, and it'll kind of free you up to want to do backgrounds in a kind of psychedelic, kind of loose way, that kind of complements, the characters. And this is just, Pink Panther is just done in a very loose style, I think, color-wise. He's the most colorful figure in these cartoons. So these are my top 5 films for cartooning and caricature, and you would do well to have these in your collection. Like I said, you could probably go down to 14th Street and get these films. If you know where Forbidden Planet is on 14th Street, there's a great video store across the street also from Forbidden Planet in New York City. You can get a lot of these films, especially the Batfink one, dirt cheap, for $10. Some are for $5. You deserve to have them in your collection, and I guarantee that it's going to make you a great artist. This is Elgin Subwaysurfer Bolling, your creative caricature marketing consultant, signing off.